Now, not a day goes by without more casualties of this recession hitting the headlines, but there are some companies that appear to be going from strength to strength. According to bosses at Goodridge UK in Exeter, success hinges on quality and reliability. Lee Rundle reports.
Sir Stirling Moss in his heyday winning the Monaco Grand Prix. The former Formula One driver is a client of Goodridge UK, a leading supplier of hydraulic hose fittings to the motorsports industry.
Why he's able to expand? Because he's building the best product of its type. I mean, there's those type of things all over the place, but there are not any. There's only one Goodridge, and they're as good as they get, and therefore his sales are good because they continue with racing. I mean, when I buy a car, if it hasn't got the Goodridge stuff on, I'll take it off and put that on, and I think that goes for anybody who knows what they're doing in motorsport.
Today, the company, which employs 240 staff worldwide, opened a £500,000 factory extension at its Exeter headquarters to keep pace with growing orders.
It's brilliant. I've recently become a father, and to have the job security of a factory like this has been phenomenal.
I feel sorry for the people that have lost their jobs, and in my situation I feel quite lucky that I still got a job, and working here we feel very secure.
A £50 loan helped to set the company up in Totnes in 1969. Today, it has a turnover of more than £30 million. So what's the secret?
I think just the attention to detail, and there is always going to be a demand for high-performance vehicles, I think, and we're very involved in the new green movement with Tesla and other hybrid and electric cars.
Another client is hill racer Jo Hodgson with her Lotus Elan.
The car has got a lot of Goodridge hose and piping on it because it's a damn good product, and I was asked to bring the car along for that reason.
Do you actually drive the car? You rally in it?
I compete, I hill climb and sprint this car.
The company has been careful not to rely too heavily on the motorsport industry. Other illustrious clients include Bentley, Aston Martin and British Aerospace. Lee Rundle, Goodridge UK, Exeter.
So a success story there, it seems. But it's hard to know where we are with this recession at the moment, because elsewhere commentators have suggested there may also be signs of recovery in the...
With the country in recession, stories about companies doing well are few and far between. But one company in Exeter, they're celebrating 40 years in business and are upbeat about the future. Goodridge has factories across the world and even makes parts for Formula One cars. But its early days were very different. It all began with one man in a shed in 1969. Seth Conway has the story.
You only have to take a look at some of the biggest names in motoring outside Goodridge's Exeter HQ to realise how important this Devon-owned business is to motoring. And to think it all began in a garden shed by one man is a phenomenal success story.
Stuart, when you started the company 40 years ago in Totnes in a shed, could you imagine it turning into this?
I had absolutely no idea, Seth, that we were going to grow to this size, to expand from our lovely beginnings in Totnes, which I loved working there. It was a great working environment, and no, I had no idea we'd expand to such an extent as we have done in this 40 years. By moving into these premises, the premises we had earlier when we moved in '89, Ford was an early major customer, and with Jaguar and Aston Martin, Ferrari, as I say, with the F40, and all the military contracts that we now have.
When Stuart started the company, he had to borrow money off his brother to get it going. Well, today, 40 years on, the company employs 262 people across the world and has an annual turnover of £30 million. Not bad for that £50 investment.
Stuart Goodridge came up with the idea of making the tubes and lines that carry fluid around engines when he was racing cars in America and Canada. No major supplier existed, so on his return to Devon, he began production. And now the world's best motor firms knock on his door. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Sir Sterling Moss opened the production line in Exeter 20 years ago and has been back today to open a new extension. He knows how important brake lines can be.
Your life depends on them. I mean, I have had brake failures in my career. Not with one of these, I would say, but I've had a pedal brake off on the Maserati, and I can tell you, pretty scary.
As the recession puts the brakes on the economy, this Devon company is enjoying a record-breaking year. Seth Conway in Exeter for the West Country Tonight.
Oh, it's good to have some happy news. Now, it's been pretty wet and miserable.